Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Andy, and today I'm going to be talking about procrastination. It's no surprise that most of us struggle to get things done. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's questioning why it's so difficult. We see people on the internet doing all kinds of things, and then we think to ourselves, why can't I get this essay done? Even when you know that finishing whatever task you need to get done will benefit you in the long run, we still hesitate to do it. We much rather do anything besides that big assignment. Personally, I only procrastinate on assignments that mentally challenge me. Easy ones I'm able to do pretty quickly. Procrastination is a completely normal human thing, but I think what makes me feel worse than not getting things done is just the feeling of guilt that comes with it. The fact that I know that I can do this assignment and that I'm capable of it, but I'm consciously deciding not to, makes me feel really bad. I've noticed that I can only get work done on one of two extremes. Either I really like this assignment, I'm not feeling stressed, or I'm feeling very stressed, which pressures me to do the assignment. Like the deadline is approaching, so then I get working. There's no really in between. From talking about procrastination with my friends, listening to podcasts, and just my own observations, something common that I've seen is that motivation will never be sufficient to keep you working. So if you're relying on motivation or waiting for it to come in order to do an assignment or do work, you might actually never complete that task. So relying on motivation might not be the best way to get things done. The real key to getting things done, I would argue, is self-discipline. With motivation, you need to have a reason to get things done. The reality is that you don't always need this big reason to get things done. For instance, we have to brush our teeth whether or not we are feeling motivated. Sometimes you just have to get things done. I am a major believer that motivation comes after you take action. Once you start taking action and you see your results, that encourages you to keep going. When you implement self-discipline, you commit yourself to working even when you're not feeling very driven. And what's really good about this is that, like I said, you're taking action. So now you have results to look back on as opposed to having nothing. Over time, taking action can become a habit or a working style that can have very productive results. From my experience, it brings me a higher level of satisfaction from my accomplishments. It makes you feel fulfilled and really proud of yourself. Strengthening your self-discipline can help you withstand temptations to engage in distracting behaviors that are only preventing you from getting your work done and reaching your goals. I know that overcoming procrastination is not very easy, but self-discipline can definitely help. I've also noticed that a lot of people tend to associate procrastination with laziness, which is not always true. I would argue that a large portion of procrastination is driven by our perception of the task or assignment. More than usually, these perceptions are rooted in fear, such as fear that the assignment is going to be tedious or that you're not going to understand it. So why even get started? It's funny because we're already assuming the worst case scenario and we're already establishing that we don't have the capability to get it done even though we haven't even started. Fortunately for humans, we have the ability to change our perceptions of things. Instead of viewing your work in a negative light, maybe try to approach it in a more confident and positive mindset and try to actually be engaged with what's going on. Once you're able to focus for a couple minutes, you're less likely to stop working. You'll more than likely keep working because, to your surprise, you'll find out that the assignment isn't as strenuous as you thought. If you really like to learn, you can see every assignment as a new learning opportunity instead of just a really difficult task. But I know there's also cases where you can't learn much from a particular assignment. In these types of cases, I think to myself, well, whether or not I'm going to learn from this assignment and whether or not I like it, it has to get done. So regardless, I'm going to have to dedicate some portion of my day to complete this assignment. The sooner I complete this assignment, the sooner I can stop worrying about it. And I use that to encourage me to keep working. I think of how truly free I'll feel when I finish this assignment, and that's what encourages me to get it done. Sometimes skipping an assignment is inevitable, but I think that if we're purposely skipping an assignment without any justification, just because it's convenient to us, you never fully disassociate from the assignment. At least for me, that assignment, wherever I go, will be haunting my brain, and I know I'll just feel much better if I get it done. It will allow me to fully enjoy my day or whatever activity I'm doing. Another major way to combat procrastination and just be more productive is getting off the internet. Not only does it help you get things done, but it's also really good for your mental health. I think Getting off the internet completely is really good for you, or just taking a break can also be very useful. In my opinion, being offline, especially from social media platforms, makes it extremely easier to get things done. For other people, their major distraction might not be social media. It might be a TV show, video games, or movies. A common characteristic of all these short-term activities is that they provide instant gratification, which prevent us from reaching our long-term goals. We're really focused on feeling very happy at every moment, and I think apps like, for instance, TikTok really affects like your attention span. So we're constantly wanting to be stimulated by different things. And when we're doing, like, for instance, an essay, we very quickly want to stop working on it. Obviously, reaching long-term goals or completing big assignments is not always enjoyable, which is why we procrastinate on them. But what we fail to notice is that the payoffs from completing these big assignments are much greater than from these unnecessary activities that we tend to spend too much time on. I think it's something that we really need to remind ourselves about, especially in the society that we live today, where the internet shapes our lives in basically every aspect. I believe that the average person spends a little over 2 hours, 2.5 hours on social media every day. I saw that on the internet. Obviously, this is different by person. Some people spend more time or less time. Though it might seem really harmless, it actually takes a lot of time out of your day, or you're always constantly thinking, no, like, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to that. But we actually do have the time. The thing is that we're not choosing to spend that time wisely on the important things that we actually need to get done, and that will actually bring us fulfillment. Once I realized I was wasting my time in unnecessary ways, I try to be more intentionally of when I go on the internet and how much time out of my day I dedicate to it. I'm a strong advocate that taking breaks from these platforms can really help you overcome procrastination. I know that it seems very obvious and we hear it all the time, you know, just get off social media, it'll help you get your work done, whatever. But if we actually intentionally commit ourselves to getting off these platforms in order to get things done, like with that intent, you will definitely see results. For another group of people, what leads them to procrastinate on assignments is just the thought of getting started. And for that, what's worked for me is just having everything set up like the night before. For instance, having a document open, a book downloaded already, an article maybe that I'm going to read, having things prepared before you actually start the assignment can actually be very helpful. Sometimes it's those really small things that prevent us from successfully completing assignments. It kind of sounds ridiculous, but it's true in a lot of cases. We're always running away from the version of ourselves that we really want to be, and we get really frustrated by it. Nowadays, there's so much pressure to get things done, and I think it's good to also sit back and realize we're not superhuman. It's not wise or healthy to also be productive every single minute of your life, but I definitely do think we need to find like a balance. Getting things done and combating procrastination is not an easy task, but I think that if we're constantly trying different ways to overcome it, we'll eventually find a way that works for us. And your future self will definitely thank you. Whether we're aware of it or not, we're actually always working for our future selves and how to make our future self happier. But that finalizes my video. That's all I have for y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.